AfterBuzzers and The Arrangement fans, we are talking Season 2, Episode 3 of The Arrangement. We're going to break down Megan and Terrence's new relationship. Will Deanne ever leave Terrence? And why was Kyle such a jerk this episode? Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Girl was a one-down teenage drama queen. This brings back all the feels.
Drama queen, dramatic episode. Lots of stuff going on.
It was.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. So welcome, guys. We are talking The Arrangement. These are my awesome co-hosts, Ally Nasta, Taquaila Jackson, Jessica Carroll, and I'm Tessa Cevaal. So what did you guys think about this episode?
First things first, I'm just happy that we finally learned something about Terrence's past. Like, I was kind of liking that Terrence was pushing Megan to open up, but then Megan was like, okay, this is not going one way. Like, what is your biggest fear? Like, I really want to learn something about you.
Yeah.
And so I was digging that, and I want to know more about Terrence.
I just really hope that it was the truth. I hope it was his honest truth, a part of his history and his life, and that he wasn't trying to just give a story to lead her on to open up herself. Terrence, I'm always a side eye up on Terrence because I never really
Taquaila
know
always
because of that.
breaks it down for me. I'm like thinking surface level, and then she's like, actually, if you think about this is what this means. I'm like, okay.
And just because he just always makes me raise an eyebrow at him because we don't know. And like Megan said, he is in control of everything. So I don't know what angle he's ever really coming out of, too. So that's how I felt about him during this episode.
You're very smart to think that way, because then here I am thinking, okay, well, Megan, she wants to take down the Institute, but I totally saw vibes between Terrence and Megan. I don't know what it was, but there was some sort of vibe they were getting towards each other where I think that this may be a barrier in their friendship. And also, let's not forget that Kyle isn't really giving her much right now. So if she can find a relationship with somebody in this kind of contracted world, I don't know what could happen, but...
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe Kyle was gonna like walk in on them on the dance floor, like, cause it was like salsa. Like salsa's like a sexual dance.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh no, Kyle's gonna walk in and she's gonna like flip up and they're gonna like back and like kiss. And Kyle's gonna see it all. That didn't happen, but that would be a really good episode.
I was worried about that, or even Deanne. Like, hitting another, like, breaking point of, like, because she saw Sean and Terrence together.
Yeah.
Actually, this was I remember last episode, during our recap, you were mentioning how you're kind of questioning Sean.
Oh, right.
With her relationship with Megan. And this episode, I saw that. I was like, because Megan overheard Terrence and Sean talking and like, hey, that issue's taken care of. And then Megan's like, what issue? And Sean's like, don't worry about it. And she might have just been saying like, don't worry about it because she was about to go do her read.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm now starting to think that maybe Sean's not so much just on Megan's side.
I'm still in agreement with that too. I just think this whole show and each character wants loyalty, but they're not loyal to the people who they want it from. So it's just always a juggle to what is real or what end goal each individual has. So I kind of still leery of Miss
Well, if you
Sean.
think about, you brought up a good point. Every single character in this show has trust issues because they've all been betrayed or they personally aren't telling the truth.
Exactly.
So they can't believe anyone else because they're like, maybe this person's not telling the truth. So it's like everyone is somehow lying or not telling the whole truth and has a second, plan in their head.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
They all have an agenda.
And then we got Mason over here.
Yeah.
But like, she comes into the episode, first episode, right?
Correct.
And then now she's like gone. Like, what was her purpose?
She got in a mysterious accident.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if she's fully gone or not.
I'm sure we'll break it down.
I'd hope not, because in the sense of to me, it made me feel like she's dead, like she died, and I'm like, well, what happened? Just the way we see Deanna, she's like, oh my God, what? When? And I'm like, what? Okay, so maybe something happened, but when? She died, or maybe she was in an accident. Who knows? Something of that nature. But I feel like it was just too abrupt.
Yeah.
She was just here one minute, they were talking about the relationship, and now she's not answering her calls, and which is driving Deanna crazy. And I don't know, maybe I'm always drastic with it. Maybe she didn't die yet. Okay. But, you know, something did happen to where I feel like she came to spend that time with Deanna before she had to be gone for an extended period of time.
Well, and furthermore, it seems like Deanne questioned staying or leaving Terrence this episode for really the first time. It felt like it was much more serious this time around. Do you guys think that if something did or didn't happen to Mason, she would leave Terrence?
I know, like when she saw that whole thing between Terrence and Sean, she immediately, first thing, she picked up her phone and called or texted Mason. And I was like, it caught me off guard. I was not expecting that at all. And I really don't think they will ever leave each other.
What do you guys think?
For a little bit, I was thinking that she would leave him because that was surface level until we kind of, because we see Terrence going through this weird situation and he's opening up to Megan. But that kind of goes back to my whole, like, Megan and Terrence are finding this weird thing where they're opening up to each other more than we've seen Kyle and Megan open up to each other and Deanne and Terrence open up to each other. So I think that's the main thing right there. And I think Deanne's just searching for someone to care about her and throw a little bit of emotion her way. And like we've seen in the past, Terrence never really breaks it down to her level to say, listen, I know you're going through a lot with this movie. I know it's taking everything out of you. Let me be here for you. Let's go on a date. He doesn't do anything for that for her. So I really think this episode, she's, you know, screw it. I'm going to do my own thing. If he wants to do his thing, I'm going to do mine. Yeah. So I think it was, I don't know if she would essentially leave him fully, but I think she was thinking, I deserve this break. I deserve to go away for a weekend and do my own thing.
Right.
I was in agreement with, too. I don't think she will ever fully leave him, but I think just whatever news that she heard from Mason's son about Mason made her want to go ahead and figure out where their relationships actually stand until Terrence comes back and is like, let's reopen the conversation about having children. Our mission, our goal has always been to help people. Let's do that. So I think she's gonna be stuck in the middle of what really happens. She does want kids, and then she does want Mason, but how can she have both, maybe?
Right, yeah.
And or not, I don't know. But I think, and now I'm torn between how she's really gonna react. Which one will she leave?
And that's a really great point you brought up, Ally, that no one really has cared about Deanne.
That's true.
No.
Like, I don't think I've ever really thought about it, but it's true. Terrence never really checks in with her. He's checking in with Kyle and Megan and everyone else.
And Kyle even is kind of pushes her to the side. She's doing all this back work to make sure that he can have Technicolor Highway in every shape and form, and he's the one, you know, throwing punches saying, I don't want this actor, I don't want this person, I'm gonna do this, and she's like, I've gotta make you money somehow. And she's constantly the punching bag for everybody. So I think today she was just like, she needs a vacation. You know, she needs to go to get a massage somewhere because she doesn't get any love.
Yeah, it's true. Well, talking about getting to know Terrence better, we finally get to see insight into him through these sessions with Megan. And I honestly was very surprised how quick he opened up. Even though it was like maybe 2 or 3 sessions, it still felt like they escalated very quickly. And so I was surprised they didn't continue to play the cat and mouse game. What did you guys think about that? Did it feel like an appropriate timeline to you that he did open up?
I think that he was planning it. I mean, obviously everything with Terrence, he plans very strategically. So I think that he planned it so that he could open up to Megan to make her feel like, oh wow, Terrence is actually opening up now, and not just open up, but open up to a way where they have something in common, to really get into her head, saying like, okay, Terrence, you know, also lost his father, and then Terrence even ending it being like, we're the same person. I was like, whoa. But meanwhile, I think Megan's gonna take this and just have like more want to like take down Terrence even more. The fact that now he's kind of got in her head.
I think, too, an agreement with you, and also it was just timing. He had to tell someone what happened to him in the parking lot. He had tried to tell, I think maybe, was it Kyle or Dan at first? And it was Kyle last episode, and Kyle didn't believe him. He just brushed him off like, yeah, okay, whatever, let's get back to the show. But I think that his vulnerability helped him release it all quicker. He needed to tell somebody and figure out, again, what goal it's coming from. So I think it came at a good time and a good space, of just their sessions and what they both were going through.
So, Quilla, I think that's a great point that you bring out about timing and vulnerability, because I think this is the first episode where I've actually been able to humanize Terrence and really kind of break him down and be thinking, you know what, he's not as bad as a person as I think he is. I mean, he's bad as a person, but when you break him down and you have him in this one scenario, I really do think his intentions of telling the story were pure, because I think he's kind of thinking with Megan, you know what do I have to lose at this point? She already hates me. She's telling me that to my face that I scare her.
Yeah.
And he also knows that if he's going to break her down in any way, he's going to have to open up a little. And so I think that once they broke that wall and shattered that glass, it was just kind of like a waterfall. And he was thinking, you know what? I'm actually feeling comfortable enough to tell this girl about how I'm feeling, so I might as well just go for it.
Yeah.
Total agreement.
But, I mean, I know there probably is an outer layer as to why he did that the way he did, but I honestly think he just was really sad. And I think he's realizing... We even saw at the end of the episode, it really made him think about his relationship with Deanne and thinking, whoa, I've screwed this thing up. You know, we've got to figure out where we can kind of go from here, because they're kind of too far gone at this point.
Very true.
Yeah.
So do you think Terrence still thinks Megan is on to him? Like, do you think he's still calculated to any sense in his answers? Or do you think he's like, you know what? Like, I need to just bond with her.
I think he was a little calculated at times, and I think that's why he was so much like, well, you didn't answer my question. Like, there was very much of a bounce back and forth of they both wanted the same answer. And I think that's when he started realizing, well, we kind of are the same person, which helped him kind of realize what her motives may be in the long run. But I think that this could make Megan think that she doesn't really want to necessarily take down the Institute, because we saw the way it helped her perform in her scene. And I think that at the end of the day, she wants to be professional and she wants to perform and she wants to act, and that's going to keep her doing it. And if she thinks that Terrence is going to get her there, she's going to start realizing the relationship between Kyle and Terrence a little bit more. So I think it's about him just kind of sticking a wedge in there, one foot in the door, being like, listen, this is who I am, get to know me a little more, and I can help you all the way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But it is kind of, you have to, this episode was one of those that makes you think, oh, that's right, she does have a motive, he has a motive.
The one thing that really triggered something was when Terrence was like, our sessions are over. Now your real sessions have begun, after he told her like where her father was.
Right.
And, you know, where he's living, and it was weird how he was like, and he has no children except for you.
Basically.
That was
Right?
weird.
I was like, but like, I felt like he was, to be honest, I thought he was poisoning her because he still wanted to keep those sessions going. But now that he's just like ended the sessions with her, I don't know. It felt like he's kind of losing now control of Megan.
I felt it was a little abrupt too. Like, oh, this is it. They had this one day, this one session where they both finally open up or see the human in each other, kind of relate to each other, and then it's done. So I don't know if that means the work now is for her to continue to still growing with her relationship with her father, and like you said, the people that are in her life always are the ones that leave her, and maybe that somehow will trickle over to what maybe her and Kyle are going to go through. I'm not sure, but I feel that uneasiness, as you did too, it wasn't put to bed for me completely.
Right, like it was like he kind of like let go of Megan a little too easy.
Yes, it did.
But this is something that I kind of was thinking too when he was letting her go, is that he had a near-death experience, and he had basically his life flash before his eyes. So I think we might actually be seeing a different Terrence come out of this experience and start thinking, you know what, I do need to start putting my relationships first that matter to me. And that's why he had that conversation with Deanne saying, you know, I think we should still revisit trying to have a child. You know, he's realizing, whoa, I
have like no one.
Yeah, and then I think that Megan brought up a great point saying, you know, are you ever jealous? Do you ever wish you could be someone else? You know what I mean? She brought up that kind of vulnerable side in him, where I think he's realizing, whoa, I've done all of this stuff for other people. I've put so many people first. I've helped them get their career successful. And here I am with a failing marriage, a actor and a contract marriage who's supposed to be my best friend / son, who his fiance hates my guts and is scared of me. So I think this actually was a tear down moment for him. And I think he's going to step aside from the Institute for a second and figure out his life. But at the end of the day, the Institute's not going away. So there's still that looming thing over our head. But I think for a little bit, it is actually Terrence.
Yeah. Well, whatever Terrence stirred up in Megan, I mean, it came out in her acting. And so her doing this film and having all this happen right now, it's going to bring out such raw, real emotions during her acting. And we saw it right there. Everyone was like blown away.
Do you guys think that Terrence was shocked to find out that Megan was scared of him?
No.
No.
I think it was more of a reality check. Like, oh, that's
Yes.
right. That's the kind of vibe I put off because he's very cold and he doesn't show emotion.
He almost was like, fuck. Yeah. He's probably like, yeah, like this is like what I want to hear. Like, I bet you he wants. First of all, he was happy that Megan finally opened up because he's really good at reading people and he can tell that she was holding back. But I think that the minute she said that, he was like, okay, this is my opportunity now to act like I'm gonna be closer to Megan and let's like go out, whatever, like get drinks, go dancing. Because I'm going to show you that you don't have to be scared of me. So I think that he was like, he planned it.
I'm with you on that. I think it's a mind game because people who are in control and the type of work that he does, you have to give a little bit of fear off in your persona, but also that little balance of comfortability so that people aren't completely afraid of you and they'll still open up and talk to you. So I kind of think it was the both balance that you just suggested.
Yeah.
So many spider webs going on
I
here.
know. So we also saw a side of Kyle this episode of rage and anger, especially in the bar scene when they got into a little fight.
Yeah.
Were you guys surprised to see him act this way? Is this aggression?
I think this is something that we're going to start figuring out what actually happened before
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
met Terrence. You know, we've been waiting for this moment for a while. We know his dad, I think, is an alcoholic or he's abusive.
Right.
He has some sort of those tendencies. So obviously that's probably coming up again. And if maybe, I don't really know what the tendencies were. Maybe if it has to do with the fact that he was at a bar or not. But I think that's kind of something that we're going to see come from his past.
Yeah.
And now we know that, you know, Kyle has been abused or something in the past. Terrence as well, like how his mom would force him to eat like a stick of butter, you know, when he would have french fries and
Yes.
butter. Like,
That's so disgusting.
Yeah.
so funny. And then even now Megan, you know, not really growing up with like this great childhood. So that is something that they do all three have in common that I think is going to, we're going to see some things unravel, definitely.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of strange the way that they just brushed off that scene in a way.
Yeah.
With the whole fighting thing. Because the whole season and series as far as that he has to have this perfect, pristine image. Nothing can ever affect that, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden we see him get in a bar fight that, well, not really a bar fight, but he was protecting them, which is better. But, you know, it's all in the paparazzi, it's in the newspapers and whatever. And they say nothing about it. So I just found it a little weird, but I don't know if that's just me, considering we've tried to keep his image so clean and then...
Yeah, I just think that that goes to show that Deanne is so tied up in this whole Terrence Mason thing.
That she's like, whatever.
And that she's like, yeah, like, I don't even have time for you. I'm finally focusing on myself right now.
True.
And I feel like that should have been a sign to Kyle to like check
Right.
on her, check her, or like just be curious. Or
Yeah.
oddly, you're not worried about. There's no damage control. And
No
I know he
lecture.
said but there's nothing else. And she was just like, I don't have time for it. And he was like, okay. And then
Right.
that was it. I feel like it should have been a little bit more interaction between them two at that moment as
Right.
well.
Like, Kyle should have tried to pull something out of Deanne.
Right.
But I think that's kind of where we're seeing Kyle's selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so selfish and he
he-
puts himself first no matter what. And we've even seen when Terrence is in a bad shape, he'll even be like, oh, I'm having a hard time. And with Megan, he hasn't even stepped down besides buying her cars and stuff to think, whoa, I just flipped your life upside down. Like, of course you're going to have tough times
Right.
now. It's all about him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't blame him because it's almost like he's grown up this way of having everything on a silver platter for him
Right.
because Deanne and Terrence enable him.
True.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But speaking of wanting to perhaps grow in your life, if you want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life, for those of you who do, we have the podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos, who is our founder here at AfterBuzz. She has a podcast, and it's hosted by Maria, and it drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to better in all aspects of your life. So this is anything from health to wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more. Let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. I will emphasize again that free. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know that the arrangement girl sent you there.
Yes,
awesome.
So check it out. It's really awesome.
It's really good. I like whenever driving in LA, we're stuck in traffic all the time, and I love listening to her. She just like makes traffic fun, and if that's even possible, Maria can make it possible. And just like the people she interviews, and just like the insight. Like I feel like I'm just like growing as an individual listening to this podcast, which is fun, is entertaining, and you really get inspired through it. So it's really fun.
I think Kyle needs to listen to
Yeah,
her.
Kyle needs to.
Yeah. Don't be so selfish.
Having some issues.
Yeah.
So, where do you see Kyle going from here? I mean, do you see him continuing to project on Megan like he did
100%.
in this
Definitely.
episode? Which, by the way, I love that Megan called him out for that. I feel like we
Yeah.
haven't really seen her get super angry at him in a while.
Oh yeah, I loved the fact that Megan was like, "You're scared that I'm gonna suck," and I also loved though like when she killed that read or that take, just to see how supportive he was, and like you saw his face just light up. So I'm hoping that, I just really hope that him directing this movie doesn't draw them apart and actually draws them closer, and he recognizes like, you know what, I've been in the spotlight my whole life, and I really want to take the spotlight off me and onto her because she is so talented. And I hope that that happens.
I like that. I really hope that that's true too, because it would be frustrating if he doesn't even see her talent, when that's the reason he booked her for this, and that's why he married her.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's almost like he forgot that that's why he wanted her in the first place, is that she's really talented. And
Right.
it would be really important for him to realize, whoa, it's not all about me. Other people can be talented too.
And also, like as an actor, you have good reads, you have bad reads, you have good days, you have bad days. And because Kyle has been in Megan's shoes as an actor with a director, I hope that he respects her as a talent. And even when she has a bad read, he doesn't just take it out on her.
And a lot has happened too. Like, I really wish, can we see this contract? Can we see this marriage contract?
Yeah.
Please? Because that would at least help align the way he comes out at her sometimes. Just if he's on one fence, he's good, he's supportive, and the other one, he's being critical and judgmental. And it's like, well, what is here? Because that, I feel like this contract still, even in his mind, he has to separate the two. That yes, maybe he does love her and want to be with her, but also there's this contract, and whatever image or thing that happened in his life is what's keeping them binded together, and also he has to keep under wraps. So I just wish we can see what this contract entails, like piece by piece, or a little bit in the
Get the
episode
lawyers
or something.
out, get the
Please,
paperwork.
yes,
Yeah.
bring Sean to the table, let us know what's happening. And that for me, when I could maybe see Kyle in a different persona or a different aspect, just because of the contract is always there. And I think that's what they also forget at times in trying to deal with one another, and me as a viewer even. That's why I'm always suspicious of most people. But yeah.
I feel like every show I've been watching recently, I'm suspicious of every single character, and I can't fully trust them. I'm not kidding.
That's true. I'm with you
I
on that
know.
one as
I don't know
well.
if anybody's watching the Royals, but man, I don't trust any of them.
None of them.
Well, definitely not on this show.
That's no.
Everybody's got an agenda.
Everyone
Everybody's got-
has some kind of arrangement going on.
Well, speaking of Megan, we have a special little segment for you guys that we have started doing, and we're going to do a little spotlight on the woman who plays Megan,
Yeah.
Christine. So, Ally, do you want to kick it off?
Evangelista. Yes, let's do it. So, just a couple of fun facts is that she was born on October 27th. and
a
she's
few days
from
before me.
Oh.
And she's from Staten Island, New York, and she went to school for acting, and she actually performed on Off-Broadway before she did theater and for TV. She did Off-Broadway, which I find that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That she started there and went to school for it. Because sometimes a lot of people their story is they came out to LA and they did it, but she actually went to school for
Almost
it.
like Xavier in
Yeah.
the show.
Yes.
just randomly fell into acting.
Yeah, exactly. Which a lot of their stories are, you know, when they were younger, people on the streets, and they just like saw them and they're like, oh, we want to get you into commercial modeling
Because
or
you have a
something.
look.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And also, just one little fun fact is that she has an Instagram for her dog Buddy, and it's at Buddy's. It's Buddies_A_boss.
Okay.
And Buddy's really cute. I looked over his Instagram today, and I gotta read the caption because she has it in there, and it's basically like talking about how she's a stage mom. It's really fun. But yeah, there's just some fun things, and obviously she's been on some of our other everybody's favorite show, The Walking Dead. That was really popular. She was on that too. But this is a really fun one to be on for Megan or Christina. I literally keep saying Megan and Josh and Kyle.
I know, right?
Christina.
The character
Like,
names.
Like literally keep getting them all mixed up. But yeah, that's
I
just
feel
fun.
like she almost feels like she's playing part of herself in the show because it feels like this is kind of her first big break.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Megan
Right.
is in the arrangement.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
She was live tweeting this past week's episode, and someone asked her which episode would be her greatest, or if she can give any insight. And she was like, well, she loves episode 3, which was this past episode, and then episode 10 as well. So we'll have to see what comes
Which is
until
the
we
finale.
get to 10. Yes. And then somebody else asked a question. Josie Cabrera 17 was tweeting her and said, is Kyle going to get rid of Terrence or Megan? She was like, that's the question of the season, Megan or Terrence. So I posed the question to you ladies. What do you think?
That is a great question. Wow. I really think Terrence is going to fall out of the picture.
You do.
I
Wow.
do. Because I think there's going to be a certain point where the power balance it can't keep, like, someone will fall.
Yeah, you
I
can't have
agree,
two
yes.
because they are kind of both head to head sometimes. So I think that one of them, the balance has got to shift, and maybe he does just be like, "I'm gonna go run away with Deanne, and we're gonna go have babies."
That could be true. It wasn't until Ally first said that you think Terrence is gonna escape for a little while that it kind of clicked in my head, like that could be possible.
Yeah.
Especially what he's going through, and I don't think he's gonna let anyone see if he has this breakdown of being held at gunpoint and possibly almost being shot. He's not gonna allow anyone to see him go through that process. He'll go visit the other guy from last season that put him in that little all that happened. But I think I can't make a choice right now because it's so hard.
Yeah.
Because Kyle needs Terrence. We know that. He needs them. But he might really, really love Megan too. So I think the power may switch and it might be Megan. So then again, I agree with you ladies where Terrence might have to step away.
Hopefully Megan takes down Terrence and Kyle just recognizes that Megan does love Kyle and Kyle recognizes like how much a talented actor she is, and maybe he just like takes off just focusing on directs all of Megan's films, and Terrence just like runs away with Deanne and has babies and leaves them.
Yeah. That could work.
Which I would have never predicted at the
No.
beginning of that.
Definitely.
Happily ever after.
So, I guess, what are your guys' predictions now for the rest of the season?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
You know what? I'm gonna stick to. I think that like there's gonna be some sort of weird connection between Terrence and Megan, which is gonna open her eyes to a different side that she never saw before, which is kind of gonna put the Institute into like maybe a halt for a second and kind of bury it for a little bit, and then Sean's gonna be like, wait, what about the Institute? Are we still bringing it down? You know, she's gonna like, bring out this information, but there's something weird going on between them that I think is just besides friends. I think, and it was something that sparked out of their like, we relate with one another, and she has nothing that she really relates with Kyle about. And I think that will be something that's going to pose. I think Terrence it might be like Megan and Terrence against Kyle kind of thing, which would be really interesting to see happen.
That would be.
Because Kyle's been kind of not on her side recently. And then I also think that whatever's happening with Deanne and Mason, I think that the whole want to have babies thing has definitely made her realize, oh, I need to stay in this marriage. But then obviously there's going to be some sort of conflict with is Mason dead? Is she alive? Is she in the hospital? Like, what's going on? I
Yeah.
don't know.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of you. Mine is gonna come to, I think Dan's gonna leave for a little while to go figure out what happened to Mason, be there to support her in recovery or whatever goes on. For some reason, I feel like, because Dan didn't have any emotion to me that I didn't see on screen, to where Terrence was basically maybe pouring out his heart to her, being open, like, let's revisit having children, let's revisit us and the things that we initially wanted to start the institute for. I think maybe he's involved with whatever happened to Mason because he's seen Deanna being pulled away even more. So I think once Deanne goes to see what's going on with Mason, she'll come full circle as to who was involved, what happened to her, and that's going to tear an even bigger bridge between her and Terrence. Kyle and Megan, I'm really hoping now that we just all had this discussion that it's going to be the two of them that's going to take down Terrence. That would be amazing.
That would be good.
But didn't help me refresh my mind. Last season, wasn't it Deanne who told Megan she was going to be in cahoots with her with taking the institute down? Wasn't it a rally of women, or no? Am I just...
No, we wanted it to be a
Yeah,
rally of
Okay,
women.
so we want it. So I want
Yeah.
that back still. I want them to come back to them three, and hopefully Sean's going to be on the right team too and take over the institute. Yeah.
I think Mason's still going to be in the picture, and I think Deanne, I think she's maybe sick, like maybe the son was like, oh, you didn't hear she has cancer or whatever. And so I think Deanne's going to realize, like, listen, Terrence, I need someone to care about me, and I have that person, and right now I need to be there for her. And so I think Deanne is going to take some time off or whatever and focus on Mason, which is going to force Terrence to kind of recognize, like, he has this fear, and he's gonna, without Deanne, he's gonna, like, kind of feel less powerful and maybe, like, kind of focus more on his issues, which is then going to let Kyle and Megan kind of bond more. And also I think Kyle's gonna really be drawn to Megan because she's such a great actress in front of, and he's just gonna be like, oh my god, I married this, like, bombshell, she's so talented, like, and just gonna really be drawn to Megan. So I think that with everyone kind of focusing on their own story, it's gonna actually help the whole situation. And I think Megan's now gonna kind of be more in control with everyone else kind of stepping down.
She's going to become the Terrence.
Yeah,
Okay.
but in a better
I like
way.
that. Yeah.
I like that. I think my problem with Mason is I feel like they escalated her storyline so quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we were just introduced to her and now there's already a traumatic thing with her. And so I'm not crazy about that. I think Kyle is just going to start losing it, though, because I think Terrence and Megan are going to get closer, and
I
it's
do think
really
that-
going to bother him.
I do think they're going to get closer, and I think Terrence is going to want to stay in Megan's life and kind of update, like, oh, have you reached out to your dad, or are you going to go see him, or whatever. I think that Terrence and Megan are going to stay in communication about this little inside thing that they now both revealed.
And I think she might find out what happened with Lisbeth from Terrence.
Oh,
That
yeah.
might be good too.
Oh, you do?
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, that would
because
be-
then it would be like it wasn't really Elizabeth. I mean, it wasn't him that was the crazy one. Maybe it was Elizabeth.
Or
That-
Kyle. Yes.
Or Kyle, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well,
right?
and the teaser
Yes.
we saw, Megan blames Kyle. Like, the contract
yeah,
wasn't
right.
about me. This is about you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm really anxious to see what led to that conversation.
great.
There's so many different webs going on. It's so interesting. I can't wait until we, like, figure it all
Figured
out.
out.
Yes.
And it's going to be like a whoa moment.
Yeah.
We'll have
you know?
it. We'll have it.
Well, you guys tell us what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for kicking it with us.
Yes,
Ladies,
always.
where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at AllieGirl and on Twitter at Ally Nasta. And if you're interested in any other after shows, I do the Royals at 8 p.m. on AfterBuzz TV.
And I am Taquaila. You can follow me at Taquaila_I am. And also you can join me Mondays at 6 for Barry.
And I'm Jessica Carroll, and you can find me on all social media at Jess Carroll TV.
And I'm Tessa Cevaal. You guys can find me on all social media at Tessa_Cevaal. And don't forget to follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. Talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.